It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to the Thursday episode of the Mike Prince Show right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Coming to you each and every day. Our social media handles for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are at the Mike Prince Show. Our sponsors are Attorney Lee Van Richardson of Hempstead, Texas, Diva Skin Conditioner at divafeet.com, Prairie View Athletic Club of Prairie View, Temple of Refuge Ministries of Prairie View, and Texas Farm Bureau of Waller, Texas. Our 24-hour message line is 713-570-6736. And of course, our website is obnradio.com. And without any further delay, we'll jump right into today's episode. Today, we are going to hear from one of our listeners who corresponded to us by way of YouTube. We'll hear from Tony momentarily, but as I begin to exit on yesterday's episode, I was calling off the various platforms and I omitted one, and I'll run through that again on how you can listen to our daily episodes of the Mike Prince Show and other events that are held here. The Carlos Brown Show, the Sports Report Live, and our game day coverage right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Of course, on YouTube, we're at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're on Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, TuneIn, TalkShoe, the website obnradio.com, and you can listen by way of telephone at 857-777-0000. Because of those various platforms, we've been able to reach over 200,000 listeners with the various combinations of things, and we truly thank you guys for that opportunity. We like to call ourselves the little big man that can. So continue to spread the love, continue to show your support, and stay tuned here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Well, as promised, we are going to hear from one of our listeners on today in regards to what I thought was part of the challenge of attendance. It was spurred on by another listener hoping that basketball would be fully attended throughout the course of this 2020 campaign. And I was saying that winning is part of the cure of everything to start turning things around. And as I mentioned, sometimes it's like that Johnny-come-lately theory. People see what happens, then they start to matriculate in after the fact. But as you'll hear here in a moment, Tony is going to agree to disagree with that, and he brought up some valid points. So we'll switch on over to hear what Tony had to say, and I'll give you fair warning. His message was transcribed to a voice recording that is actually reading what Tony typed to us on the Open Mic Broadcast Network through YouTube. So we'll now hear from Tony.
From my observation, it's not about winning games. Look at Jackson, who remains on top every year for attendance, and they haven't had a great football season. Our fans just don't show up. We have a 15K seat stadium and have never filled it to capacity. We have our largest alumni base in Houston, over 8K students plus university employees, and sometimes on game day we don't have more than 5K in the stadium. When the seating capacity was announced at 15K, I questioned why build something so small. Now I see the university got it right. Houston alumni should pack the games. It's shameful that so many of them don't come out and support. The students have come to games somewhat this year, but more could show in attendance. For that, I say SGA should be in charge of getting more students to the games, changing the culture of sitting in their dorms while there is a football game going on. From a marketing standpoint, we could use some work, and I think the university needs to market to Brenham and Cypress, make those cities feel like PVAMU is their community sports team. Next year we will have better home games, but those games need to be marketed better. If you're going to discount tickets, it shouldn't be announced one day before the game. If a certain color t-shirt is to be worn, put that information out at the start of the season. Mike, this is only my observation, and I love my Panthers and want us to pack Panther Stadium every week.
And Tony, we thank you very much. We thank all of you guys who submit your comments, questions on the various platforms that we mentioned above. And you too can be a part of it. Pick your poison. Stay tuned. Stay in touch. Stay on the grind with us here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. The first thing that Tony brought up was that it's really not about winning. And he made the reference to Jackson State. And I'm going to be on record for saying this. I question the attendance, the way we keep attendance sometime. And I think if we're going to keep an accurate attendance. They need to do more like what the NFL does. You report the number of tickets that were sold and then report the actual number of tickets that showed up, because that's a contrasting difference sometimes in these games. I've been in the stadium personally on some games where they reported way larger number than what was actually there, but that's neither here nor there. Tony was referencing that it was more or less not about the winning. It's kind of dealing with a combination of things. And number one is just showing some pride on your school and the representation of your school, whether they're winning or losing. And he made reference that he thought that the 15,000 stadium seat was too small when the stadium was constructed. I'm one of those who thought that that was too large. When you look at it, Old Blacksburg Stadium held roughly 6,000 people. I thought a good happy medium number would have been 10,000, maybe 12,000 max. The theory behind going 15,000 was in the event that Prairie ever went to FBS status, the minimum requirement was 15,000 seats. Get that? And the current construction of the stadium could expand to 30,000. But I'm thinking that if you look at it from a logical point of view, 10 to 12,000 seats, then you could add an additional 5,000 if you had to expand to meet the FBS minimum requirement. Understand that. But I thought the 10 to 12,000 would have been more than enough. And you could have added more suites if that's what you wanted to do and make more revenue that way. But I just thought a 10 to 12,000 seat stadium would have been sufficient for Panther Nation. When you look at facilities, and I've said this several times, facilities make a difference, but they don't really make a difference. Facilities are not going to win you more ball games. Facilities are not going to make the people come out. Although when the stadium was first constructed and it opened up for that 7-hour storm delay against Texas Southern on its inaugural season, there were over 17,000 people, standing room only, but it was also a 7-hour delay. To respond to the fact that SGA needs to get more involved and more responsible for getting the local students to attend the games versus staying in their apartments or dorms, however you want to identify them. I hear you, and I'm going to agree to maybe a 25-30% factor, because the SGA is a very strong influencer on the campus. They are involved in the decision making. They were instrumental to the stadium being constructed as we have it today. However, I think, and it leads to what Tony was talking about in the marketing factor, you're going to have to use a combination of SGA, athletics, and I'm understanding that athletics has kind of given marketing over to the university, which, depending on how you look at it, could be a good thing or a bad thing. And when I say this, understand you have university marketing, then you have athletic marketing. Two different beasts. And to be honest with you, you have other entities on that campus, such as the Marching Storm. There are other forms of marketing, and you can't really lump these guys up into one big pool. And I think that's kind of the approach on how it's being handled. And it could be part of the challenge that we see. Tony made another valid point that you have 8,000 students on the campus. Find a way to do an in-house marketing. A lot of people are relying heavily on the social media buzz part of it, which is due, but everyone does not follow you on social media. You're going to have to be able to turn over the fan cycle by going back to some of the basic forms of marketing. They call it guerrilla marketing these days, but flyers, throughout the community in various parts, newspaper ads. We spent a lot of effort trying to reach Houston when you have a wide market that are in Waller County, Austin County, Washington County, Grimes County, that could help build your fan base. When you really look at it, and Tony hit on it, about Prairie View should be the community's team. Prairie View is the only Division I program, when you're talking about athletics, within a 55-mile radius. When you head east, you have Texas Southern, U of H, Rice. You go west 53, 55 miles, you have Texas A&M. You go 86 miles northwest, you have University of Texas. You have a wide opportunity of hitting people other than Houston to bring brand awareness to the said product. In this case, we're talking about Prairie View Athletics. He also made a valid point about having early notices for fan involvement, i.e., they have blackouts, whiteouts, and all kind of promotional deals going on. What Tony was suggesting is that maybe if you highlight these when you release the season schedules, market them in local media to help circulate and get that word out. Not, oh, by the way, we're having this particular event. And I think one of the more challenging points that Tony brought up was student culture, student involvement, keeping students from maintaining and just staying in their dorms or apartments while a game is going on. He made mention of football, but there's so many other games, basketball games, baseball, softball, soccer, volleyball. All these students can be encouraged with fan involvement. And once again, it goes to the marketing. I've said this and I'll say it again. There's nothing wrong with getting a marketing team or even the players themselves passing out flyers at the MSC, passing out flyers throughout the various apartments in the various departments of the educational areas, business, communications, political science, wherever the departments are. Just plastering these things, putting them on cards. They do it for homecoming. You walk around doing homecoming, you got placards from everywhere. So I think if we kind of bring that G-force together to help cultivate and let them know, oh, by the way, did you know this was going on? Yes, once again, Twitter is great. Facebook's fantastic. Instagram is awesome. But everyone is not following you on your particular platforms. And we can't assume that just because you tweeted something or sent out an Instagram or sent out a Facebook post that everyone is going to get the message. You heard me make mention of the various different platforms that we're using here at the Open Mic. We couldn't have over 200,000 listeners if we only relied on one source. Some of you only see us through that one source, but we have other various ways of getting this daily programming, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm greatly thankful for it, and it helps us to continue to drive and push that needle. Sometimes you have to really, really master the art of being little big. And when I say being little big, it's okay if big doesn't want you and little won't use you. You still have to stay on the grind to get your story out. Part of the motivating forces for us here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network, we are going to daily tell our story, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're not going to be Johnny-come-latelys. We're not going to be fair-weathered. You're not going to like it all the time. But I do challenge you and ask you this. For every one that you don't like, remember the ones that we do promote and stay on the grind of being positive. I know it's easy to say, well, we don't want to mess with the open mic because the open mic is negative. No, the open mic is not negative. The open mic is rather positive. But people choose to hear what they want to hear and see what they want to see. And it's the same thing that goes when it comes to marketing. That's why you have to stay constant on the marketing. You have to stay on the grind and understand that the community involvement is how we all survive. And when I say community involvement, yes, we have a strong Houston alumni base, but we have well over 500,000 people within the 7 counties connected directly to Prairie View A&M University that have not heard the fullness of our story. And that's part of our daily quest. Yes, we are going to take care of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. That's part of our makeup. We are going to take care of the MEAC. That's part of our makeup. But we're also going to take care of our local and regional areas. Prairie View is not the only one challenged with attendance. When you listen to these ADs, when you listen to the presidents and the coaches, everyone is struggling with trying to get a consistent attendance to where you don't have to take on these money games, to where you don't have to go in there and offer up these student athletes as the sacrificial lambs so that the institutions can make money. Charity begins at home. What are we going to do to help turn that thing around? Tony, we thank you for your contribution to today's episode. Don't forget, if you want to leave a thought, comment, question, or concern, dial in on our 24-hour dial-in message line at 713-570-6736. Or you can leave us direct messages on our social media platforms. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. And don't forget our website is obnradio.com. It's still not too late for you to come on and be a listening partner. Visit that website, click on the PayPal button, and become a listening partner today. Stay tuned. We got some products coming out that's going to help you display your school pride. I've got the exit stage left for now. I am the radio guy, Mike Prince. Thank you guys so much for joining in with us on today. Until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.